Hi, I'm Jenny. Welcome to my channel. Oh, gosh, I got a big one today. It may not seem that big, but it's big. Okay. So we all know that right now we're at the beginning. I think it's November 4th, 2025. The government's been shut down for a long time now, and the President Trump has been approved to fund half, or he's going to fund half of the SNAP benefits. And fortunately, I'm not a person who needs that benefit, but in the past, I have been dependent on that, and also have used the food banks. And so I wanted to talk today about the food banks. And I know that this is a political issue right now, but this is also an ongoing issue. We have a lot of people in our country who are food insecure on a regular basis. And so I started thinking about what my experience was with the food bank. And there were some things that we got a lot of all the time, and to the point of being excessive. And one of those things is macaroni and cheese, the box mix. So they don't need that, more than likely. But then I started thinking about some things that I wish I'd had. And, while I was waiting and whatnot, talking to other people and their circumstances. So this is kind of a broad list. I am going to give you a list if you want to get a piece of paper and a pencil and write this down. But it is a broad list. And before I go into this, I do want to remind people to share this video, because I think this is important. And if we pull together as a community and support each other, regardless of whatever the government's doing, we'll get through this, and we're going to get through this, but we can help each other out. So if you want to share this with your church or your work, you can maybe start a food rally at your work, or just in your community. If your kids are into any kinds of clubs like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, or different kinds of clubs that they're involved with, or their karate class, all these different things, you guys can pull together and start collecting food for people who are in need. And so my list today is things that are rare at the food bank, or that people don't necessarily think of to donate to a food bank. And you're going to need to check with your local food bank, because some of the things on my list, the food bank may not take. And so it would be, not beneficial to them. But I want to get some other ideas out there of things that people need. So the first thing is on my list: personal hygiene products, toothpaste, bar soap, shampoo, all those kinds of things for somebody to bathe with, and toilet paper. I know that these are not covered under food stamps, but when you're scrimping and saving, every little bit helps. The other thing is dish detergent, and I'm talking about the liquid kind that you have to put into water and on your dishes and rinse off, not the things that go into dishwashers. And the reason why I'm saying that, and you'll see on my next one, is because if somebody's in dire straits and really in need, they may not even have electricity in their house. Which brings me to the next one, which is a can opener, and not an electric one, the kind that you have to twist and it goes around the can, that kind of can opener. And I put that on there because a lot of the cans, they can't even get opened if they don't have electricity. So a can opener may be very valuable in a time when, sugar and flour, coffee, tea. These are things that may seem irrelevant, but sugar and flour can go a long way. So can coffee and tea. And they're fairly inexpensive. Also salt and pepper, and maybe some other common seasonings. I wouldn't necessarily put something in there that's unusual, but we're heading into the holiday time. Maybe a little sage, garlic powder, onion powder, those kinds of things. These things are not necessary. They will not keep you alive. But if somebody is at the point where they have to go to the food pantry because they have no other options, these little tiny things will help them mentally and emotionally in a time when they're in need. And the seasonings are not that expensive, so why not, right? The other thing is first aid or over-the-counter pain relievers like Tylenol, those kinds of things. Oh, and I want to go back to the personal hygiene. Ladies products. Ladies products are expensive, and you got to have them. So we want to add that on there too. Now, some other things that your food bank may or may not take, depends on the bank, because these are perishable, and they always, when they do the collections, a lot of times they say non-perishables. And I think that's mostly because when you're putting into a collection and it has to sit there until they get it to the food bank. But if you can take something directly to the food bank and the food bank will accept it, these are very helpful. Things like milk, butter, eggs. A lot of times somebody will get, say, like a pancake mix from the food bank, and you got to add oil and milk, or eggs and milk to the pancake mix. And you can't do it if you don't have it, right? Which is another thing I want to bring up. When you're looking at these box mix type things, you want to try to get things that only require water, not milk or eggs, because if they don't have it, they can't use what you're giving them. Oil, fresh produce. We have a problem in this country with fresh produce being available and the expense of it. But, you know, it may be so nice to get an apple or an orange, and those types of fruits will last a pretty good long time compared to like something that would spoil quickly. Onions, potatoes, bananas, things that will last a little bit longer. Like, for me anyway, celery seems to go bad quickly. Lettuce will spoil quickly. But other types, carrots, fresh carrots, they'll last a while. So things along those lines that will help, and they're actually raw food, you know, whole foods, and bread. A lot of food pantries give out peanut butter and jelly, but nothing to put them on. You're going to eat with a spoon, I guess. I don't know. But bread is a big deal. Also, I know that meat is expensive, but if you can get some meat into your donations, that would be helpful. There are also canned meats like chicken and tuna fish. Those are helpful. The tuna fish comes in packets, and they're fairly common. A lot of people will use them. And I think they have a canned beef now too. I don't know what you would do with that, but it's another kind of canned meat. And then another thing to think about is baby products. Now, baby products can get really, really pricey, but we keep talking about the WIC program losing the funding right now, and the SNAP benefits. And a lot of the people who are using these benefits are young mothers. So I know that formula is very, very expensive, but so is baby food. Canned baby food. Well, I don't think it comes in jars anymore. However it comes, baby food, the little crackers for teething, other things. When I had mentioned like the first aid, how about some children's Tylenol or diapers or baby wipes? These things that people go through all the time with babies, and you know how it is. I mean, diapers are expensive too, so that's another thing to consider. But check with your food bank and see what they will accept, because each one's going to be different based on who's running it. And maybe you want to consider, like I said at the beginning of the video, getting together with people in your community and having a food drive. Just keep in mind that simpler is better. So the less complicated it is as far as adding ingredients to something, the easier it's going to be for the person who's receiving it. So, like, flake potatoes, instant potatoes, all you have to do is add some water to those. But you know, your box macaroni and cheese, you got to add water, you got to add milk, you got to add butter. So it might be better to get the little packets of potatoes or the boxed potatoes instead of the other. And stovetop stuffing, people like stovetop stuffing. It tastes good, it's something different, you don't see it all the time, and it's really just water. You can add butter to it, but the butter's not really necessary. So stovetop stuffing is another one that people really like. And we're heading into our holiday seasons right now, so maybe check with your food bank and get an organization together with your church, like I had said, or your office, and maybe you could collect some money and donate turkeys or chickens to the food bank so that the people in a couple weeks will have at least something for their dinner. And then you can collect gravy, the instant potatoes, some green beans, some corn, and whatever poultry that you can donate. And they've got a Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe a couple pies if there's a access to a freezer at your food bank. Just things to think about. And wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if we could just pull together and show the government that we're not the pawns that they're making us out to be? It is coming into the holiday seasons. Thanksgiving's right around the corner, and after that is Christmas. And there's going to be people hurting this year. We should think about them.